How are you?
I will.
How are you, sir?
غدا
I was happy when you said you are going to come. And to appreciate members of your entourage for finding time to be here with us. This visit is long overdue. We had expected you. But it is said that it is better late than never. So we want to thank you for finding time to come, because we believe that you are part of us. And you are our own as the Zegemure Tiv, the great shelter of the Tiv people. This is your home. And so we're happy to receive you and to thank you for making time to come. Because the vacuum that was created as a result of your inability to come, especially when the same people that you were supposed to provide shelter to them were under siege and attack, became an issue. Several people were asking, where is the great shelter of the Tiv people? Where is he? And I want everyone, and the press especially, to understand that the challenge we have here today in Benue State is not about Tiv and the Fulanis that we know. In the past, Shagari was president of this country. He was a full-fledged Fulani man from the Caliphate. And in Benue State alone, we had 3 ministers, several other ambassadors, and several other appointments. And we related very well. Our people were very happy. We had no issue. And so it's not about Fulani being against us. Then Yaradua came. The same Fulani man, incidentally, from Katsina State. A great man. God did not permit him, but we saw a visionary leader in Yaradua. Within that little time that he stayed, and a couple of times that some of us had privilege to meet with him, we saw that he meant well. There was no deceit in him. He was somebody that believed in equity, fairness, and justice, and ensured that we here in Benue State, we got the best. Kase Ondakam was appointed #1 minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is #1 minister. For those of us who have been privileged to be in the Federal Executive Council, he is the one that sits next to the president. That was the position that Yaradua, a Fulani man, accorded us. Of course, we will not forget about you, also a Fulani man who was vice president, and the support you gave to our people and our leaders. We cannot forget those things in a hurry. And so, when the state became under siege, and we did not see you, we were not happy. I must tell you this. We were not happy that the time we needed the shelter over us. If you go to the IDP camps now, they are being beaten by the sun because no shelter. But thank you for coming today. As I said, better late than never. And I still want to repeat and to say that we are being terrorized and harassed by Fulani terrorists, but not from this country. I'm aware, and I know, and I'm a diligent man. Anything around me, I try to study, and I did my research. And those people have not hidden it, those Fulani men. One of them is known as Fulani Nationality Movement. They are the deadliest terrorist group, composed of Fulanis all over the world. So they said. And they did not have it. They have it. I have documents. The other one is Meatiala Kotanhore. I have persistently asked Mr. President to disband this group because they are dangerous. And the reason was that even when our people were killed in cold blood on the first day of January 2018, they came out and took responsibility for those killings. They accepted responsibility. So what explanation can anyone give me? The other one, Meatiala, Makaban, those ones are very soft and friendly. Even they adopted our prohibition on open grazing and provision for ranching law. They adopted it. All that they pleaded was that they needed more time. And let me use this forum to say that the law prohibiting open grazing and provision for ranching is not meant to target Fulanis or any ethnic group whatsoever. The law was meant to be a win-win. There is provision in the law to sanction those who do open grazing, and also provision in the law to sanction those who rustle cattle. It is there in clear terms. And in the course of implementing this, arrests have been made and several people for rustling cattle and for doing open grazing. They will have tried, as people who believe in the rule of law and due process, to ensure compliance to the law by our people. So it is not meant to target anyone. And as I talk to you, there are T people, Idoma people, Igede people who rustle cattle, including some of my kinsmen from my village in my council ward, and I ordered them to be arrested when they went to our way and rustle sheep and cattle. We brought them, they are prosecuting them, they are under detention as I talk to you. So it is not meant to target anyone, but this was a challenge that was beyond us. Every day you wake up, people are killed. Every day you wake up, there is crisis here and there. So we say we must find a solution. And globally, open grazing is not the best. Globally, ranching remains the best practice. And this is what we sought to do. And I tell you the truth, since we started it, we've been able to minimize some of this conflict, because why Fulanis came to attack was because they say that they rustle cattle. The farmers say that it's not true. But to continue to argue, we decided to regulate this. And those who say that we have no land, we have land. There is a procedure for everyone. It's not everybody in Benue State that have access to land, but you can apply and get a portion of it. And by the grace of God, I have the mandate on behalf of the people to sign C of O for people. I have not seen it. Those people who say that is not true. But the challenge is the inability of the federal government to come hard on some of these socio-cultural organizations like FUNAM, Fulani Nationality Movement, Mayati Alakat and Hore, who have taken responsibilities for the killings and the displacement and the occupation of our people's land. These are the people that have created problems in this country. But we believe that just like even me, I think by 2023, I'm no longer going to be governor. Somebody else amongst the 31 people that are aspiring will be governor to take over from me. And I believe that God, who crowns kings and leaders, by the grace of God, 2023, if the current government is not able to do something as it has done in the last 6.5 years, we believe that someone from PDP who has the capacity, like you, if by the grace of God, the PDP takes over the mantle of leadership, we shall ensure that the best practice is also endorsed in Nigeria so that everybody will live a life that is secured. And so I want to let the whole world know that I'm not against any Fulani. The best of my friends are also from the Fulani nation, and we relate very well. And so in my government, there are Fulanis who have been given appointments. I will work harmoniously. We're not here to harass anyone. The law does not harass any Fulani man or Hausa or Igbo or Yoruba who is doing his legitimate business in this land. But the inability of the barefooted APC government at the federal level have led us to where we are today. It is really unfortunate. This is something that even a primary school pupil can solve. But this APC government have refused to do it. But thank God we have people like you and many others who are aspiring to take over the mantle of leadership. And I believe that all the presidential aspirants of the People's Democratic Party, even the least, will do 100 times better than this APC government is doing. So, I appreciate you. I pray that we'll continue to work together. The PDP must be united. We have a task. We have a challenge. The PDP must come together. For me, I have given my commitment to the leadership of PDP in Nigeria and in Benue State that to hell with my ambition. Let us promote the interests of PDP in Nigeria and in Benue State. Because if PDP wins, we have all won. There are several opportunities that we can get as a result of PDP getting there. When we rescue Nigeria from the hands of corrupt and inept, barefooted APC government, we shall rebuild it. And who are the people who are going to be components of building this country? It is you and me, all of us working together. Opportunities will be there for everyone to participate and be happy. So we thank you. When we see people like you, we see there is hope for our country, Nigeria, and will not give up. My prayer is that all of us will work together. I want this message to get to all PDP members in our country, let us be united. Unity. United we stand, divided we fall. And let our personal interests be subdued against the interests of our party. And that will be the winning strategy for our party. Once again, Your Excellency, thank you very much for making time to come. God bless you. God bless your trip. God bless your delegation. You're welcome, sir.
And only the governor could do that. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to be in Benue State today and to be at home. I had a private meeting with the governor to explain to him my absence in the country, why I could not be here at the very trying times this state and the people of this state were going through. And it was not that I was not with the people of this state, because from abroad I had issued a number of statements condemning the killings that were going on in Benue State. When we met privately, the only point of perhaps disagreement between the governor and myself was, I said, why do you profile violence through ethnic profiling? And he told me, my elder brother, I am not referring to the Fulanis that we live with and we have always lived with, but I'm referring to the Fulanis who have migrated from outside Nigeria to come and cause disorder, conflict, and bring about conflict amongst the various ethnic groups. And we agreed that, yes, those who came from outside might be Fulanis, but the impression you would have created, even among the Fulanis in the country, was that, you know, you were against the Fulanis. Because Fulani is a Fulani man, whether he's from Niger, whether he's from Mali, or from wherever he may be, is a Fulani man. This was my own point of view. And that was the governor's also point of view. We said, look, we had the best of times in this country. Like he said, during the administration of a Fulani president in Shehu Shagari, during the administration of Umaru Yaradua, a Fulani, and so on and so forth. I said, quite understandably so. And I also recall in my early days as Zegemule Tiv, when there was a conflict here between the local Fulanis here and the Tiv people, I was the one who came and became part of the reconciliation process here in Makurdi. And I said, therefore, I think that profiling sent a very, very wrong signal, even though I was not here. I said, everybody knows me. I don't label anybody, either ethnically or religiously. And as leaders, we should try as much as possible to bring all our peoples together to understand themselves. So at the end of the day, anyway, we agreed with ourselves, and we also reconciled our views. I want to thank him for this opportunity that he has accorded me, because within a short time when I called him and said I was coming to Benue, he said, look, I was going to be away, but because of your coming, I'm going to return a day earlier so that I can receive you, because we had all along expected you anyway. So let me thank him for giving me this opportunity, and also let me thank you all for being here. The other time I visited the IDPs camp, of course there was a time I came, I think was it in 2019. I visited the IDP camp. Since then, of course, I have not returned. And I told him I wished I had enough time to be in Benue so that I could visit the IDPs. But all the same, I want to announce my own donation for their upkeep of 50 million naira. Let me also say that I want to appreciate the leaders of the party, the leaders of government that are here today, within a very short notice, to accord us this very, very brotherly welcome, because it's a very, very brotherly welcome. And I want to commend the governor in particular for creating the opportunity and the environment for a friendly dialogue, not only friendly, but a brotherly dialogue. And I want to say that we now have a very, very firm understanding of each other's position. We don't have any more misgivings about our various views and our positions as far as those views are concerned. I want to thank him for his leadership to the state and also the good people of Benue State. Of course, in due course, I look forward to returning here again so that we could have a different discourse, as far as the politics of the state and also the country is concerned. Let me also use this opportunity to thank the Deputy Governor, who went personally to receive me at the airport and to escort me here to the government house. Your Excellency, as you know, and as we have discussed, this is just a very, very short visit. I look forward to when I will return to Benue, stay overnight, discuss with every group, and of course, enjoy the normal hospitality, of the Tivs people. So, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much indeed for your audience. Let me also say a word or two about leaders of our party who are here. I want to appreciate for the good work and the support you have been giving to the governor in the discharge of his duties. I commend you for that support, and actually, I look forward to a more direct interactive session of the leadership of the party on another visit when I would have had time to stay overnight and a day or so. So I want to thank you for the cooperation and support you have given to the governor. Otherwise, the success he has recorded, he would not have recorded it. And I am very, very impressed with the rise in support that the leadership or the party is getting in Benue State. the fact that on a daily basis, the membership of the party in Benue State is increasing. That means that the government or the governor must have been doing a great job for people to be migrating from other political parties to PDP. So, Your Excellency, I want to congratulate you, and I also want to congratulate the leaders of the party who are here, who are making it possible in the various nook and crannies of the state at the local governments level and so on and so forth, to promote, the popularity of the party. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all, and thank you.
You should hold on first. You should hold on. Yeah. Funny, hold on. Bulus, your interview is one person to the shot, not loud shot. The person. Right, Your Excellency. Yeah. Governor. Hello? No, let them. No, you can't talk yet. I interrupt that.
Some of the issues that the IDPs have. But when you put this, considering the number of IDPs we have across within the state, about 1.5 million of them, do you think this will be able to take care of issues like health issues and other challenges?
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.